a logo, ACB in print and braille. American Council of the Blind. Together for a Bright Future. 64th Annual National Conference and Convention. General Session. Tuesday, July 8th, 2025.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started. I'm not sure if we've had anyone come to the center aisle to help lead the pledge, but we are going to get started with our pledge. I need your attention, please. Hello. Remember that I'll ask you to keep it down, and then I'll ask you to keep it downer. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. All right, if you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Somebody said play ball. That's this afternoon, actually, I think at 12:15. Yeah. And you know who's our officer of the day, so you know who did that, right? All right. Can we please have our recognition of our corporate sponsors?
We extend our heartfelt thanks to our 2025 conference gems. Their ongoing generosity and support of the American Council of the Blind, as well as our annual conference and convention, are deeply appreciated. Diamond sponsors: JP Morgan, Meta, Microsoft, Vanda, Waymo. Emerald sponsors: Amazon, Google, Verizon. Ruby sponsors: AT&T, CVS Health, Envision, Gerard Boucher, Humanware, Spectrum, Vispero. Onyx sponsors: ACB Families, IRA, American Printing House, Be My Eyes, Bosma, Democracy Live, Guiding Eyes for the Blind, T-Mobile, United Airlines. Choral sponsors: ACB Lions, Council of Citizens with Low Vision, Edward Jones, Library Users of America, National Industries for the Blind, Penny Forward, Userv, Waymap, Zooks, Buell Foundation. Pearl sponsors: Giga, Enhanced Voting.
All right, we definitely do appreciate our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. Let's see, do we have our wonderful people from Vanda here yet? Okay, they're here. Yeah, good deal. I told them to come early. we were always ahead at this part of the day. So we have today from Vanda, we have Maggie Felton, registered nurse educator from Baltimore, and Vicki Preddy, registered nurse educator from Orlando, Florida. And Vanda is so wonderful about coming around to your states and affiliates and such, and so I know you know these people and love them, and you're awake for this presentation because you all have non-24, right? So let's turn it over to them. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maggie Felton, and I'm here with my dear friend and colleague, very lovely Vicki Preddy. Everybody knows Vicki. She's very loved. We're honored to be here on behalf of Vanda, as we are every year, and we're so grateful to be able to return each year to help educate our community. That's what we do as nurses. And we're so incredibly honored to be here to support the American Council for the Blind. And honestly, we're just so delighted to see everyone, so many friends, so many familiar faces, and you guys are always the best. You're so welcoming and so warm, and we're just so proud that you allow us to be part of this very incredible journey. So thank you. And I'm going to let Vicki say a couple things as well.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. It is so good to be here. Thank you all so much for inviting us. We always enjoy seeing familiar faces, meeting new people, and just enjoying the time here and learning from you. So again, thank you for including us, and please invite us back next year, okay? Well, just a couple more things. I just wanted to let you know that today Maggie and I are going to be at booth number 1, so that's easy to remember, right? And then at 1 p.m. we have a workshop, so please join us if you are interested in participating in our workshop and learning more about Non-24, because you never know when you might need the knowledge for yourself or for somebody else. So please join us, and again, thank you so much for having us. Have a great day.
And before I walk away, I just wanted to add, we may bribe you with some cookies. I know we don't have ice cream this year. However, we have some other incredible delights. So come please and have some.
Well, I love Cookie Monster, so that might work out, right? We really do appreciate Vanda so much. They support us in so many ways, and it's just great to have them here at the convention. So go by booth 1 and see them for sure. All right. We are at a very exciting time of our convention, which we love. It's the roll call, affiliate roll call. Now, I want to just make a couple quick comments before I turn it over to Katie. She's going to give you an order that she wants these in. Please use it. It really helps. So if you need to juggle your numbers around to get to the order of the people, do it. Just do it. You only have to juggle 1. She has to juggle like 61. So, you can do it. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, we will not be calling Vermont, and we will not be calling Wyoming. There are a couple others that we will not be calling pretty soon. So if you are having difficulty unmuting from a phone in the delegate room, we need you to be talking with Cecily and trying to work out any alternatives that we can for you. But if you have a member that is here that is not your delegate or alternate, I would really recommend appointing them as your delegate or alternate, just for the purpose of standing up and giving your vote, because we don't want to leave anybody out. But I know that sometimes phones don't want to unmute on Zoom. I need you to all hold it down. Thank you, thank you. Now, so I'm going to turn it over to Katie for the roll call, and thank you all for that, and we'll see how this goes this morning. Thank you. All right, Katie.
Good morning, ACB. All right, let's pack our patience and fasten our seatbelts. If I could have my friends from Alabama through Connecticut getting up to mics and getting ready, we will begin. When you give me your votes, you will get admission into the Katie Frederick Secretary Fan Club if you give them in the order of the way they were on the ballot. So Tusing, Cummings, Hunsinger, and Cox. That will greatly help all of us up here on the stage. Please, please, please. All right, here we go. Alabama Council, 4 votes.
Good morning, ACB. This is Alabama President Jimmy Smith. Alabama votes as follows: 0 for Tusing, 2 for Cummings, 0 for Hunsinger, 2 for Cox.
2 Cummings, 2 Cox. Arizona, 3 votes.
Good morning, Madam Secretary. This is Melanie Sonoe, President of the Arizona Council of the Blind. We vote as follows. Tusing, 0.5. Cummings, 1. Cox, 1.5.
.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1.5 Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And also, please do not leave the microphone until I repeat your vote, please. Thank you. Arkansas, 1 vote.
Arkansas votes 0.5 for Cummings and 0.5 for Hunsinger.
0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. If I could have my folks from Delaware through Hawaii start to get ready, please. California, 15 votes.
Good morning. And pardon me if I don't get these in the right order, but I'm trying to do this from memory here. So for Tusing, 2, Cummings, 8, Hunsinger, 4, Cox, 1.
2 Tusing, 8 Cummings, 4 Hunsinger, 1 Cox.
That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Colorado, 1 vote. Colorado, 1 vote. We will come back to Colorado. Connecticut, 1 vote.
Connecticut cast 0.5 for Tusing and 0.5 for Cummings.
0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings. Is that correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Delaware, 1 vote. Delaware, 1 vote. We will come back to Delaware. DC Council, 1 vote. DC Council, 1 vote. We will come back to DC. Florida, 25 votes.
Good morning. This is when I wish I had my brailler with me. All right. Florida cast its delegates 1 Tusing, 12 Cummings, 5 Hunsinger, 7 Cox.
1 Tusing, 12 Cummings, 5 Hunsinger, 7 Cox.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Georgia, 5 votes.
Good morning. Georgia casts 1.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 2.5 Cox.
1.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 2.5 Cox.
That's correct.
Thank you. If I could have Illinois through Louisiana, get ready, please. Hawaii, 2 votes.
Aloha and good morning. Hawaii votes, 2 votes for Cox.
2 Cox. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Illinois, 3 votes.
Good morning, Katie. Brian, get us some more members so I don't have to do mathematics here. Illinois Council of the Blind cast its votes as follows. 0.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Indiana, 3 votes.
This is Deanne Hart, alternate for Indiana. We have 0.5 for Tusing, 1 for Cummings, 1 for Hunsinger, and 0.5 for Cox.
Thank you. And if I could have it quiet in the audience, please. 0.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. Iowa, 4 votes.
Good morning, Lori Trujillo, and ICUB cast 2.5 for Cummings, 1 for Hunsinger, 0.5 for Cox.
2.5 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox. Correct?
Correct.
2.5 Cummings, 1 and 0.5. We're good? Thank you. Iowa. Kansas, 3 votes. Kansas, 3 votes.
Michael Byington, you may unmute.
Sorry. Oh, there. Okay, my delegate just unmuted, so I don't need to now. Go ahead, Paul.
Kansas cast their votes as follows. 1 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox. Thank you.
1 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox. Correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Kentucky, 13 votes.
This is Debbie Persons with the Kentucky Council of the Blind. Kentucky cast 0.5 votes for Tusing, 0.5 votes for Hunsinger, and 12 votes for Patricia Cox.
All right, 0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Hunsinger, 12 Cox, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Bluegrass, 3 votes.
This is Samantha Hubbard for Bluegrass. All 3 votes go to Ms. Cox. The other 3 are zeros.
3 Cox. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I can have Maine through...
You forgot Louisiana.
I'm getting to Louisiana. I just want my next group to get ready, please. So Maine through North Carolina, New York, sorry. All right, Louisiana.
Louisiana cast 1 vote for Cummings, 1 for Cox.
1 Cummings, 1 Cox. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Maine, 1 vote.
Good morning, Katie. You're doing great. This is Linda Powell,
And ACB of Maine casts 1 vote for Cheryl Cummings.
1 Cummings. Maryland, 2 votes.
Maryland casts 0.5 Tussing, 1 Cummings, 0.5 Huntsinger.
0.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 0.5 Huntsinger, correct? Is that correct, Maryland? Cindy? Okay, yes, that's correct. Thank you. Please, again, please do not walk away from the mic until I repeat your votes back to you. Thank you so much. Bay State, 8 votes.
Good morning. This is Diana Leonard, Bay State delegate. We cast 7.5 for Cheryl Cummings, 0.5 for Chris Hunsinger.
7.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
Thank you.
Michigan, 4 votes.
Michigan casts 0.5 for Tusing, 3 for Cummings, and 0.5 for Hunsinger.
0.5 Tusing, 3 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
Correct.
Thank you. Minnesota, 3 votes.
Minnesota casts 2.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
2.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
Yes.
Thank you. Mississippi, 3 votes.
This is Ralph Smitherman, delegate from Mississippi. 0.5 Tussing, 2 Cummings, 0.5 Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 0.5 Cox.
That's correct. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Secretary.
Missouri, 8 votes.
Greg Hollins, delegate from Missouri. Missouri cast 1.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 4.5 Cox.
1.5 Tusing, 1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 4.5 Cox.
That is correct.
Thank you. Nebraska, 1 vote.
Nebraska cast 1 vote, Cummings.
1 Cummings. New Jersey, 3 votes.
Good morning. New Jersey cast 3 votes for Cummings.
3 Cummings. New York, 8 votes.
New York has 0.5 for Tusing, 2.5 for Cummings, 3.5 for Hunsinger, and 1.5 for Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 2.5 Cummings, 3.5 Hunsinger, 1.5 Cox.
That's correct.
Thank you. North Carolina, 3 votes.
North Carolina votes as follows. Patty Tusing, 0 votes. Cummings, 1 vote. Hunsinger, 2 votes. Cox, 0 votes.
1 Cummings, 2 Hunsinger. Correct? Thank you. North Dakota, 5 votes.
North Dakota casts 3.5
Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 1 Cox.
3.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 1 Cox.
Yes.
Thank you. Ohio, 8 votes. ACB, Ohio. While we're waiting for Ohio to get to the mic, if I can have Oklahoma through Texas get ready, please.
Good morning, everyone. ACB of Ohio casts votes 1 Tusing, 5 Hunsinger, and 2 for Cox.
1 Tusing, 5 Hunsinger, 2 Cox.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. Oklahoma, 15 votes.
Oklahoma Council of the Blind cast 5 votes for Cummings and 10 votes for Hunsinger.
5 Cummings, 10 Hunsinger. Oregon, 4 votes.
Oregon votes 3.5 Cummings, 0.5 Cox.
3.5 Cummings, 0.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. Pennsylvania, 7 votes.
Pennsylvania votes 6 votes. Whoops, I'm sorry, did backwards. 1 vote Cummings, 6 votes Hunsinger.
Thank you. 1 Cummings, 6 Hunsinger. Palmetto Council, 1 vote.
0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings.
0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings.
Correct.
Thank you. South Dakota, 3 votes.
South Dakota cast 0.5 Tusing, 2 votes for Cummings, and 0.5 for Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 0.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. Tennessee, 7 votes.
Good morning. This is Robert Spangler, Secretary of the Tennessee Council of the Blind. We have 3 votes Tussing and 4 votes Cummings.
3 Tusing, 4 Cummings.
That's correct.
If I could have Utah through AAVL get to mics, please. Texas, 12 votes.
Good morning, Madam Secretary. After extensive calculations on our Texas Instruments calculator, we're casting 1.5 for Pat Tusing, 3.5 for Cheryl Cummings, 3.5 for Chris Hunsinger, and 3.5 for Patty Cox.
1.5 Tusing, 3.5 Cummings, 3.5 Hunsinger, 3.5 Cox.
Yes, ma'am, and the calculator's now been cleared.
Thank you. Utah, 14 votes.
Utah casts 2 votes for Tusing, 2 votes for Cummings, 8 votes for Hunsinger, 2 votes for Cox.
2 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 8 Hunsinger, 2 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. I am not calling Vermont. Virginia, 4 votes.
Doug Powell, delegate from Virginia. Tusing, 0.5. Cumming, 2 votes. Hunsinger, 1.5 votes. And Cox, 0.
0.5 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 1.5 Hunsinger.
Correct.
Thank you. Washington, 17 votes.
1 for Tusing, 14.5 for Cummings, 1.5 for Hunsinger.
You need, no, we're good? 1 Tusing, 14.5 Cummings, 1.5 Hunsinger.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mountain State, 2 votes.
Mountain State, 2 votes. 1 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
1 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
That's correct.
Wisconsin, 1 vote.
Good morning. Wisconsin votes. 1 vote for Cheryl Cummings.
1 Cummings.
Yes.
All right, and I am not calling Wyoming. AAVL, 6 votes.
I'm Sandy Triano, alternate for AAVL, with input from 62 members. AAVL cast 0.5 for Tusing, 2.5 for Cummings, 2.5 for Hunsinger, and 0.5 for Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 2.5 Cummings, 2.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
Yes.
Thank you. If I could have teachers through government employees get ready, please, if you're not already at a mic. Blind teachers, 2 votes.
American Association of Blind Teachers casts 1.5 for Cummings, 0.5 for Hunsinger.
1.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
Correct.
Attorneys.
Attorneys cast 1 for Cummings and 1 for Hunsinger. Thank you.
1 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger. ACB Diabetics, 5 votes.
Good morning. ACB Diabetics in Action cast 4 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger.
4 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. ACB Families, 4 votes.
Good morning. This is Natalie Couch, ACB Families Delegate. ACB Families votes 1.5 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, and 1.5 Cox.
1.5 Cummings, 1 Hunsinger, 1.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. If I could have next gen through CCLVI, get ready, please. Government employees, 1 vote.
Good morning. Liz Botner, ACB Government Employees Vice President and 2025 Alternate Delegate. We cast our vote as follows: 0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next gen, 3 votes.
All right. We, Next Gen, cast 1.5 Cummings, 1.5 Cox.
1.5 Cummings, 1.5 Cox.
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Lions, please do not roar, but you may cast your 3 votes, please.
ACB Lions, 0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 1.5 Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 0.5 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 1.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. Radio amateurs, 1 vote.
Radio amateurs cast its 1 vote for Cheryl Cummings.
1 Cummings. ACB students, 1 vote.
Good morning, Madam Secretary. Greg Juan Snyder, the alternate delegate for ACB students and Socials Committee Chair. I'm not a math major, disclaimer, but we cast our 1 vote for 0.5 for Hunsinger, 0.5 for Patty Cox.
0.5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
That is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Bits, 25 votes.
Brad Snyder and Vice President speaking for BITS, and happy to be here. BITS casts our votes as follows. Thank you. Thank you. We cast our votes as follows. Tusing, 3. Cummings, 12. Hunsinger, 7. Cox, 3.
3 Tusing, 12 Cummings, 7 Hunsinger, 3 Cox.
That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. BRL, 11 votes.
Hi, everyone. This is Jane Corona, the alternate delegate for BRL, with input from 97 of our members. That's 32.66%, and I couldn't do this without Braille people. Tusing is 1, Cummings is 5, Hunsinger is 4, Cox is 1.
Can you repeat that, please?
Tusing is 1.
Yes.
Cummings is 5, Hunsinger 4, Cox 1.
1 Tusing, 5 Cummings, 4 Hunsinger, 1 Cox.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could have the rest of the special interest affiliates get ready to give your votes, please. CCLVI, 10 votes.
Good morning. CCLVI cast 0.5 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 7 Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 2 Cummings, 0.5 Hunsinger, 7 Cox.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. FIA, 1 vote.
Friends in Art casts are 1 vote for Cheryl Cummings.
1 Cummings.
Thank you.
Guide dog users, 14 votes.
Good morning. GDUI cast 1.5 for Tussing, 7 for Cummings, 5 for Hilsinger, and 0.5 for Cox.
1.5 Tusing, 7 Cummings, 5 Hunsinger, 0.5 Cox.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivy, 1 vote.
IVIE casts its 1 vote for Cheryl Cummings.
1 Cummings. Library users, 8 votes.
Library users cast 0.5 for Tusing, 3 for Cummings, 2 for Hunsinger, and 2.5 for Cox.
0.5 Tusing, 3 Cummings, 2 Hunsinger, 2.5 Cox.
Correct.
Thank you. RSVA, 13 votes. RSVA?
RSVA casts 5 votes for Cummings, 4 for, pardon?
Go ahead.
4 for Cox, and 4 for Hunsinger.
5 Cummings, 4 Hunsinger, 4 Cox. Correct? Donna? Did we get it right? 5 Cummings, 4 Hunsinger, 4 Cox. Is that correct? Thank you. All right, now we're going to go back to the ones we didn't get earlier. Colorado, 1 vote.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about the delay. This is David Dunphy from Aurora. Our 1 vote is for Cheryl Cummings. Thank you.
1 Cummings.
You got it.
Thank you. Delaware, 1 vote.
Delaware casts 1 vote for Tusing.
1 Tusing. DC Council, 1 vote. DC Council, 1 vote. Madam President, I believe that completes the roll call.
This is Artis Bazin. I just wanted to tell everyone I did find my Braille sense.
It was the last place we looked.
Madam President.
Yes?
Mitch Pomerantz. I have a request of everyone here. Some of us have some level of hearing loss. Some of us, as we've gotten older, may not concentrate as well as we used to. It's not so much of an issue here this morning. It was yesterday, but it also applies to the workshops that we all attend. I beg you, those of you with mobile phones, which probably means 95% of you, either put them on vibrate or turn them off. It's very, very disruptive. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we are waiting for the tally, and I think they're going to be fairly quick with that, hopefully. They are already ready. Whoa. They practiced all night, actually. And it really helps that you all gave everything in the order. So thank you so much for that. Let's hear our totals.
So for everybody, I'm going to read the grand totals first, then I'll go back up and read the affiliate and then the individual votes, because I think you guys are interested in the grand total most importantly. Grand total for Pat Tusing is 99 votes, or 10.9%. Cheryl Cummings, 410.5, or 45.1. Christine Hunsinger, 222, or 24.4%. Patty Cox was 178.5, or 19.6%. So, for the affiliate vote, Pat Tusing was 30, or 8.7%. Cheryl Cummings, 148.5, or 43.2%. Christine Hunsinger, 91, or 26.5%. Patty Cox was 74.5, or 21.7. Individual vote for Pat Tusing was 69, or 12.2% of the vote. Cheryl Cummings was 262, or 46.3. Christine Hunsinger, 131, or 23.1%. Patty Cox, 104, or 18.4%.
So no one received 50% plus one of the votes. So that means that we will be having a runoff election. And so that will be between Cheryl Cummings from Washington State and it's Chris, right? Will be the other, Chris Hunsinger from Pennsylvania. So those will be the ballot for today.
Madam President, point of order.
Yes?
I am concerned. I hesitate to say this, but I would want to see a mistake happen. And I don't have the Constitution in front of me. But are we in a position where we can do a direct runoff between the top two, or must it be three?
No, I think it's supposed to be two.
Okay.
It's two, everyone says.
I'm just checking.
It's two.
Okay, good. I didn't know whether we could only drop one at a time.
No, it's two.
Oh,
It's the
great.
top.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam President.
Parliamentarian, yeah? Top two. Parliamentarian says top two. Okay, yeah. So again, this afternoon, it will be Cheryl Cummings from Washington State and Chris Hunsinger from Pennsylvania. And that concludes that. Okay. So we will not be doing anything with candidates today, and we'll be going on. So in that case, my display just told me I'm connected to my iPhone. I'm really thankful for that. That's good. I didn't really care, but that's the way it goes. All right. We have some angel presentations this morning, and we're going to start those by playing the angel song, which is kind of a tribute to the angels that was prepared by the Sweet Adelines of Nashville many, many years ago. And so we'll be having that song. And then we have three angels this morning. These angels are a little bit longer presentations than our angels normally are. We do have kind of criteria about these, and somehow these got overmade. So they're wonderful presentations, but they are longer than you will expect. So I don't want to startle you with that, but we need to know about it. We have plenty of time for it. And so we'll go ahead and have our 3 angel presentations. They are going to be Nancy Burgess from Nancy Burgess Hall from Dayton Beach, Florida, Dr. Perry Ray Sanders from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Albert, I can't even say that. Prolongo, from Pittsburgh. Oh gosh, can't say that one. I should have practiced. I'm sorry. All right, so let's go ahead and have our angel song and our 3 angel presentations.
Against a glittery background, the letters ACB. Below each letter is its corresponding Braille cell. ACB presents ACB Angel. Nancy Burgess Hall, July 16, 1954 to April 22, 2022. Doug Hall, Daytona Beach, Florida.
My angel and wife, Nancy Burgess Hall, who, in spite of lifelong struggle with severe rheumatoid arthritis, devoted her time and energies to helping others. Nancy was loved and respected by many, including public officials, because of her advocacy activities and her willingness to assist others. Although her organs were failing and she had been experiencing a tremendous amount of pain because of a disability, she continued to help, serving on a variety of community advisory committees. She worked to improve public transportation. She advocated for accessible voting, including absentee voting. And she definitely promoted the use of talking books for people who had difficulty using regular print. In spite of her ongoing and progressive disabilities, Nancy provided speech therapy to children in elementary schools while she educated the children, their parents, and other professionals about the needs and abilities of people with disabilities. Nancy was an active member of the Florida Council of the Blind, serving on a variety of its advisory committees and helping out whenever and wherever her assistance was needed. I'm proud to nominate Nancy Burgess Hall for the prestigious ACB Angel Tribute because she certainly deserved it.
Debbie Grubb, Bradenton, Florida.
I would like to introduce you to one of the finest advocates I have ever known, Nancy Burgess Hall, wife of friend and FCB and ACB member Doug Hall. Nancy was a wonderful advocate because of what she'd experienced, and she was a wonderful advocate because of what she knew. But what made her an especially wonderful advocate was who she was. Nancy had experienced disability since the age of 2, when it was discovered that she had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. I'm sure there were days when she was in great pain, but I never heard her say a word of bitterness or a word of complaint. And Nancy, like most of us who are passionate about issues in our lives and things that we face as human beings, had certain hallmark foundational beliefs that she would not compromise on. But she was always so wonderful at listening. I'll give you an example. Many times at meetings, and many of them I chaired, they would, as happens with us in ACB sometimes, get contentious because we all are very passionate and believe that we are right and believe that what we say is the best way to go. Nancy would sit in the meeting and never say a word. And Nancy was very bubbly, very vivacious, very talkative, always wanting to help, always wanting to get to know people. So I'm sure this was not easy for her. And at the end, when the person moderating the meeting would say, before we close, does anyone have anything else to say? Nancy would say, I would like to say something. And the beautiful thing about what Nancy had to say was she was true to these foundational core components of her belief system. But she could find something to incorporate in what she said that one or two people had said that made people feel included in the discussion and that what they had to say had merit. It was truly an amazing thing to behold. One of my favorite Bible teachers, Priscilla Shire, has a saying that is a hallmark of my life. She says, unity isn't sameness. Unity is oneness of purpose. And although Nancy may never have heard that quote, that thought in it, that beautiful thing that it tries to encapsulate, ruled her life. I remember the last time I saw Nancy, and she wasn't doing as well as she used to do, but she was still helping people. She was still capturing moments, snapping pictures, because she was so intent on having lovely things for the archives of our FCB organization. And she always wanted to help people. And she always wanted to say something that encapsulated what has become a byword of many of our lives: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And although Nancy may never have thought about it exactly in that way with those words, that's what her life of advocacy, that's what she was, and that's who she was. I never heard her say an unkind thing about anybody. Sometimes she would be a little frustrated because some form of government wasn't quick enough to do something. But she was always ready to go to one more meeting, try one more time, try one more thing. I know in my life, I think of Nancy often because I'm Irish and kind of passionate. And when I believe something, I'm ready to mix it up with the rest of people in ACB. And I know that's not one of my better qualities. And when I do that, I think about Nancy, and I think that I need to improve, that I need to be a better listener, because what Nancy taught me is that you do more good and you learn more by listening, so that when you do speak, what you say has real merit. In my generation, we had this mythical table with sort of like King Arthur's round table. And we had a dream that people of all views would come to this table and we would have singleness of purpose to make whatever the issue we were talking about better for everyone and include the needs of everyone. And at this table, people would be good listeners and they would take into their hearts and minds what was being said. And then when it became your turn to be the speaker, you would be kind and inclusive and not filled with anger and hate. Nancy could be a chair of one of those tables because that's exactly what she exemplified. I wish you all could have known her. Of all the angels that ACB is lucky enough to have and will have in the future, Nancy Burgess Hall ranks right up there with them. Nancy, we love you and we miss you. And your form of advocacy and your form of living your life is a beacon of light and hope and education and understanding and improvement for all of us. God bless you.
ACB Angel, Dr. Perry Ray Sanders, March 5th, 1949 to March 13th, 2025. Cindy Sanders, Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
I'm Cindy Sanders, Perry's sister-in-law. It is my honor to present Dr. Perry Sanders' tribute, written by his wife, Marilyn Sanders. It is with great humility that I share the story of the love of my life and best friend, Dr. Perry Sanders, and have him honored as an ACB Angel. Perry's journey from a small community in Oklahoma to academic success serves as a testament to his resilience and the support of his community. Perry's life story is an inspiring example of overcoming adversity and pursuing one's dream with determination and positivity. Perry grew up in southwestern Oklahoma, primarily in a very small community named Olustee. You're probably saying to yourself, say what? Yes, that is a small community in southwest Oklahoma. He was one of 8 children, having 5 older brothers and 2 younger sisters. His childhood was marked by a significant challenge. He lost vision in one eye at the age of 5 when he fell out of a moving car, and lost vision in the other eye at the age of 9 due to a detached retina. In the late 1950s, laser therapy was not heard of, so a buckling procedure was the treatment for detachments. His first flying adventure was on a military transport plane as he was taken to Johns Hopkins University Hospital in Baltimore for treatment. Can you imagine a 9-year-old kid laying on his left side for 3 months waiting for his retina to flip over? Well, it did. Unfortunately, the treatment was not successful, and Perry was totally blind. Despite his blindness, Perry continued his education in public school. In the close-knit community of Olustee, no one treated him differently. Whatever all the kids did, Perry did. Such antics included relocating or including flipping over outhouses as Halloween, pestering the town watchman in the middle of the night, raiding watermelon patches on occasion, and so on. When all the kids played football, Perry was right there. He either played center so he could hike the ball, or more than likely he was given the ball and ran with it. He was bigger than many of the kids, so they had a difficult time tackling or stopping him. Following his graduation from high school, Perry attended training in the college prep program at what was then called the Arkansas Enterprise for the Blind. Some of you might remember him, as he was featured in a cafeteria picture in 1969 representing the Choctaw tribe among a diverse group of trainees. Not sure, but that picture might still be hanging in the cafeteria. He was thankful to have the opportunity for that training, as he not only gleaned independent skills needed, but he particularly excelled in mobility and in developing Braille skills. Following the completion of training at AEB, Perry obtained an associate's degree in psychology at Altus Junior College. He then enrolled at Southwestern Oklahoma State University in Weatherford, Oklahoma, where he obtained a bachelor's degree also in psychology. In 1975, much to his mother's chagrin, Perry was afforded the opportunity to spread his independent wings by moving to his own apartment in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as he was employed as a rehabilitation of the blind through visual services. For a small town kid coming to live alone in the big city, this was a daunting experience. He quickly learned his way around town, learned to use public transportation, and applied his limited cooking and housekeeping skills. He doubted seriously that he could pass the good housekeeping seal of approval for these efforts. A few weeks following his employment, he and a coworker attended a meeting at the Pawnee Indian Hospital where he was introduced to coworkers from the Enid office. They were so impressed with his mobility skills, they concluded that he was a high partial. Talk about being surprised to learn that he had no vision. I was one of those he met that day. Perry and I soon became best friends and started dating. We were great supporters of AT&T, as we had some fairly hefty phone bills as we talked every night. You see, he lived in Tulsa, and I lived in Enid. Back then, there were no cell phones or free minute plans. Most of our dating occurred around visits to my parents' house in Stillwater or at one of his siblings' homes in Oklahoma City. That was back in the day when you could actually get somewhere via the bus. We were married in 1976. The first 18 months of our married life was long distance. While I worked and lived in Enid, Oklahoma, Perry worked and lived in Tulsa. He then moved to Stillwater as he pursued a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. Too bad there was no distance learning available. In the fall of 1977, we moved to Tulsa so Perry could complete his internship with the Division of Visual Services in Rehabilitation Counseling. Following graduation, he was accredited as a certified rehabilitation counselor. Perry had a distinguished career spanning 27 years as a career counselor under the Workforce Investment Act with the City of Tulsa. Prior to this role, he was a rehabilitation teacher of blind with the Division of Visual Services. He also was employed in a couple of snack bars under the tutelage of two successful snack bar operators. His service extended to the Visual Services Advisory Committee, the Oklahoma Rehabilitation Council as a governor's appointee, and as chair of the statewide Independent Living Council. His other commitments to service was evident through his involvement with the Tri-County Council on Aging and his participation on the board for the Foundation for Blind Children, affiliated with the Oklahoma School for the Blind. He was a member of the American Council of the Blind and its local affiliates, the Oklahoma Council of the Blind and the Tulsa Council of the Blind. He was also a lifetime member of the Association of Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired. Prior to his retirement from the city of Tulsa, he started the pursuit of a doctoral degree. He was awarded that degree from Oklahoma State University in the area of occupational and adult education. In the spring of 2009, he became an adjunct professor for the Langston University Rehabilitation Counseling Program in Oklahoma City. As he retired from the city of Tulsa, he then was employed as an assistant professor in the Department of Rehabilitation Counseling and Disability Studies at Langston University, Tulsa. He contributed significantly as a research analyst on various research grants in partnership with Rehabilitation Research and Training Center. His scholarly work was published in the Mountain Plains Adult Education Association Journal. Perry was deeply passionate about helping others, particularly in guiding them to develop their potential through training or education. He was forever the concerned counselor. He was a bit like Will Rogers in that he never met a person he did not like. As he chatted with folks like the paratransit driver, the Uber driver, paratransit riders, the local bank teller, friends and family, he had an inherent ability to encourage them to consider their abilities, interests, and take advantage of opportunities that would assist them in maximizing their potential. Those who had the privilege of knowing Perry recognized his boundless kindness and generosity. He possessed an innate ability to connect with people, offering his wisdom, support, and friendship to all who crossed his path. His colleagues admired his unwavering integrity and tireless work ethic, qualities that made him a respected figure in his profession. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Perry was a devoted partner and friend. Our life together was filled with moments of joy, laughter, and love. He had an incredible sense of humor, an adventurous spirit, and an unyielding passion for life. Whether it was exploring new places, engaging in thoughtful conversations, or simply enjoying the quiet moments, Perry's presence was a constant source of inspiration and strength. He enjoyed the yearly Sanders family reunions at Lake Texoma for a time of boating, fishing, and enjoying all the Sanders family. He liked to cruise. Along with a variety of family and friends, 22 cruises to the Caribbean, the Panama Canal, the Mexican Riviera, Hawaii, and Alaska. He traveled to many interesting cities within the U.S. through attendance at national ACB conventions, AER conventions, participating in ABBA tournaments, and through employment. Perry often counted his blessings of traveling, as he never thought that as a kid from small-town Oklahoma who had rarely been out of the state could have the opportunity to travel so extensively. He was a great sports enthusiast, particularly a football fan. It was always amazing that he could recall football players and plays from years past, though he couldn't remember what he'd had for dinner the night before. It showed his unique set of priorities. As an adult, every weekend during football season, he would talk to several of his football buddies on the phone to analyze what they thought would happen that weekend, what had happened the week before, or what happened in games played even in years past. He loved to bowl and was a charter member of the Tulsa Strikers Bowling League. His symbol of success when bowling a strike or spare was blowing smoke off a set of fingers pistoled, as if to say, "All right." His laid-back personality made him endearing to many. He never met a stranger and always brought smiles to those around him. In 2022, Perry was diagnosed with advanced multiple myeloma. Through all of the treatments, including dialysis, radiation, and chemotherapy, he remained positive and happy. He consistently looked forward to activities with friends and continued teaching each semester. Perry retired from Langston on January 31st, 2024. In February, Perry was admitted to the hospital for further treatment. Despite the challenges he faced, he maintained a positive attitude, often teasing the hospital staff and joking with friends and each of his siblings while walking down memory lane. Perry celebrated his 75th birthday in the hospital, and we playfully teased him, saying he probably was the only person around to have a spinal tap on his birthday. Perry went to be with his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, on March 13, 2024. His unwavering positivity, love for his family and friends, and dedication to teaching will be forever remembered. As we honor Perry as an ACB angel, we celebrate not only his professional achievements, but also the profound effect he had on the lives of those who knew him. His legacy of love, compassion, and excellence will continue to inspire and guide us. We are forever grateful for the time we shared with him and the indelible mark he left on our hearts. Perry, you are truly an angel among us, and your memory will be forever cherished.
ACB Angel, Albert Pietrolungo, May 26, 1948 to December 23, 2024. Michael Zakin, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Al Pietrolungo was born on May 26, 1948, and passed away on December 23, 2024. He grew up in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and graduated from the Western Pennsylvania School for Blind Children, where he met his wife, Hope. Their love story spanned over 55 years, and together they built a family that included their 2 sons, 4 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren, all of whom take great pride in all of Al's accomplishments. Al earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Pittsburgh and a master's degree in labor relations from St. Francis University. He worked as a social worker for the state of Pennsylvania for over 10 years and for the federal government as a mediator at the National Labor Relations Board in Baltimore, Maryland for over 28 years. Through his efforts, Al left a lasting impact on workplace fairness, advocating for the civil rights of American workers. His contributions continue to shape labor law today. Al wrestled through high school and continued with team activities by competing at audio darts and bowling. Al also became an excellent chess player. He was a member and staunch supporter of the blind division of the United States Chess Federation. And now I'm going to go off script and tell you the reason why Al joined chess, and it wasn't because of chess, but I want to go back even further to say, I remember in 5th grade when Al and I started in music and we both took the saxophone. And then later on, Al got in wrestling, and then later I got into wrestling. Well, along that time, we had the opportunity to get into these special interest clubs that the school had on Thursday nights. And we were deciding what club to join when we heard that the chess club had a pretty high school girl that was helping out. So we were interested in the girl, not chess. So we went over and there she was. So we were smitten by her at first. But here Al, he developed a love for chess, but not for the girl. But there were other things that happened in our lives that always seemed to work out together. Al and I both married girls that went to the School for the Blind, my wife Judy and Al's wife Hope. We both got married the same year in 1969. We both had 2 boys that were both born the same years. We both have 3 grandchildren, but Al naturally has us beat out. He has 3 great-grandchildren, but we don't have any. So while Al lived in Maryland, and he played a crucial role in advocating for accessible pedestrian signals, helping to ensure their statewide implementation under the ADA. He was also an advocate for the ACB of Maryland affiliate. He was their leader and also took prominent positions in the various chapters. There he continued to advocate for accessibility. Some members fondly remember Hope's scrumptious cookies and all the money they raised at conventions for their auctions. I want to personally say Al was a very good debater. It served him well when he liked to advocate for the blind and visually impaired, especially with legislators. When Al had a point to make, he really stuck with it and sold the person on what he was talking about. So Al spent a lot of time visiting legislators. One time, my wife Judy and I went to the ACB legislative conference, and we were on Capitol Hill looking for our legislator. And here comes Al down the hall by himself. We said, Al, you know where you're going? He says, definitely. I just have to go down the hill and to the right. And that's where my senator is located. We were so impressed that he could walk around the Capitol building without any help. Also, Al had a side because of what wrestling did for him. He had a confidence in his strength, so he didn't back down on any issue. No one could bully Al. Well, one time Al was walking from work out of town, and here he was accosted by a mugger. Well, that didn't start well. He just took his cane and started beating the mugger until the mugger relented and left. Well, when the police heard about what Al did, they were so concerned about him. He said, Al, you were just lucky that nothing happened to you. But, you know, Al, he would just stand up for what he felt was right. And I don't want to advocate this for anybody who has a cane to use it on any mugger. Please don't, because you'll put your life in jeopardy. Okay, after Al retired, when Alan and Hope moved back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he became a dedicated member of the Pennsylvania Council of the Blind and the local chapter, the Golden Triangle Council of the Blind. He served as board member of the PCB, which is our state affiliate, and was president of the Golden Triangle Council of Blind, and later he served as chapter secretary. Beyond his advocacy, Al was a strong community leader, addressing local accessibility challenges and spearheading charitable giving initiatives. His impact continued through the safeguards he championed, ensuring accessibility for future generations. His understanding of laws, his relentlessness in striving to do what was right, and his ability to get people to work together stood him and all of us who knew him in good stead with his work and his other interests. Al Petrolongo belongs on the growing list of ACB Angels, and the Golden Triangle chapter of the Pennsylvania Council of the Blind and ACB of Maryland are proud to honor him in this way.
A logo, ACB in print and braille, American Council of the Blind, together for a bright future.
Some great stories. I didn't actually know any of those individuals. I've known all the other angels, but today's angels I didn't. But the ones we did the other night and the ones we will do, I do. So, but those are great stories, so it was wonderful to get to know them. Thank you. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Up next, I'm going to be turning the meeting over to our presiding officer. This is the last time Ray Campbell will be a presiding officer, unless we can get him to run again later on sometime. It's okay with me if he wants to do that. But nevertheless, Ray is going to be taking us through some very fun stuff that you all look forward to every year, and I'm excited that we have lined up. And so, Ray, I'm going to turn it on over to you.
She is short. Good morning, ACB. All right. Now, before we get going here, we haven't given love to ACB Media and to Clubhouse. So could we just do a quick hello on the count of three? Hold on. On the count of three, can we say hello world to ACB Media and Clubhouse? 1, 2, 3. Hello world! And for our Spanish listeners, I asked Siri about this. It's hola mundo. I don't know if I got that right, but blame Siri if I didn't. Yes. So I didn't get to sing karaoke last night. Do you guys want me to sing? Okay. All right, we got some very important programming to do here, and I'm going to start off. This is library day, so you know what we have to do in the library? We have to be quiet. So let's get started. It gives me great pleasure to bring to the microphone the director of the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. How many of you, by clap of hands, took that Library of Congress tour back in March when we were in D.C.? Wasn't that great? I have to tell you that as we were going through all the different equipment, a certain phrase that I heard John Richardson and many others say came to my head, or a certain paragraph. Please be careful not to scratch or otherwise damage these recordings. Remember, many other people wish to read them. With that, it gives me great pleasure to bring to the microphone of ACB the director of NLS, Jason Broughton.
Little adjustments here. I'm not as tall as him. I consider myself a Greek god, but, never mind that. All right, well, good morning, good morning. It is a joy to be here with you among friends, and I just simply want to warn you, this microphone is a deadly weapon because I love to talk a lot, for those who know me. So today's conversation is going to be through updates, commentary, and a dose of humor with some hints of culinary, I would say, comments. I'm a big foodie, and for those who know me, in my first life, was a baker. So I love to provide my staff with treats and cakes as a gracious thank you. Ooh, already got somebody who said, where's the cookies? They want an order. I already heard it. Well, within that, hopefully you know that NLS has one of the largest assortments of accessible cookbooks in the country and the world's largest accessible music collection. And so with that, the ACB community doesn't just use NLS, it shapes it, it questions it, and it helps refine it. If NLS were a recipe, you'd be our secret sauce. Or maybe you might be the Braille sugar on top of a cupcake. I want this moment to reflect what many of us feel, an appreciation for the journey, awareness of the bumps along the way, and a genuine excitement for the path ahead. You deserve nothing less. I want to first start off by recognizing a farewell, which was a farewell to Dr. Hayden. And with that, her departure from the Library of Congress was a moment of reflection. And let's be honest, for some of us, we needed a minute. For me and other people, it was like an hour that we needed time. Her impact on accessibility and the importance of true inclusion was transformative. She made sure access wasn't just a buzzword, it was a promise. Now, she's at the Mellon Foundation. She continues that mission by empowering libraries, museums, and archives, and she's still leading the charge, but just from a different perspective and podium. We honor her legacy here at NLS and carry it with a purpose. The blueprint she helped shape is still guiding us. The Library of Congress continues to be the library for Congress, the national library, and the library for the people of this country from all walks of life and beyond. Updates. We've moved. After 57 years away at the Taylor Street location in the district of Petworth on Georgia Avenue, we came back to the Capitol complex and are fully acclimated back into the Library of Congress after being away for 57 years. Successful. We still have some tidbits, thank you. And so we'd love for you to come visit. We also know that as you come to the Library of Congress, you don't always have to come visit NLS, even though you know us. We are doing a wondrous amount of things where there are tactile tours, there are docents who can assist you, and so the goal is to make you come to the Library of Congress to maybe visit the Law Library, the Jefferson Building, copyright, because some of you are artists and you need to have your information copyrighted. Let me warn you now, you should consider that. And so it is more than just coming to visit NLS when you decide to do so in DC, and we welcome you with open arms. Just know, the move isn't just new geography, it's renewed energy, it's deeper collaboration, we're closer to Congress, and within that we have a central seat at the table. Though I should tell you, the birds and squirrels were like, so what? You moved back. Welcome to the cage, and we keep going. The power of partnerships. In 2024, we had a wonderful session that you might have heard about. If you did not, I'll give you a little bit of information. We had over 200 librarians worldwide come to the Library of Congress that was a part of like a reunion, a deep dive, and a proof that community exists globally. We are part of the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, known as IFLA, and we brought 37 countries to the Library of Congress to talk about accessibility as it transcended borders. We exchanged ideas, we talked of influence and programming to come. It was a microcosm of the world. Had you been there, you could have imagined it to be a small-scale United Nations meeting with many interpreters, advanced technology, information sharing, and rich, diverse experiences from around the globe. As we talk about these items, let's talk about what NLS has done in 2024, now that we're in 2025. Thanks to you, we have circulated over 22 million items by ourselves, an impressive, staggering number. Now, with that, you should know we are the actual inverse of the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress doesn't circulate any items. You can come in, you can examine, but you cannot check out. So know that we are the inverse, and that is a huge amount of items to be in circulation across this country and U.S. territories. On average, that's about 100 items per patron. Voracious reading is what I say. With that, we've added 11,000 audiobooks, 7,000 Braille items, and I blame you for making our staff sweat. With that, because of Marrakesh, we now have added over 26 different languages to BARD. And here we go. English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Vietnamese, Polish, Croatian, Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, Bengali, Gujarati, Finnish, Somali, Portuguese, Turinga, Albanian, Yiddish, Urdu, Basque, Dutch, Amharic, Greek, Danish, and Chinese. Took a lot of practice on that. As far as our technology, know that BARD 2.0 was not just a facelift. We know that there were some adjustments that needed to occur, and it's basically a full makeover. And so in working with our Office of Technology at the Library of Congress, we especially want to make sure you understand how this actually kind of works. So with that, we have better search, we have improved privacy, wish lists, subscription management, reading histories, all wrapped into a sleek experience that for me is wonderful because I hope to achieve a goal before I retire in the many, many years that I will be at NLS. We now can support upwards of 800,000 users on BARD alone with a goal of 1 million users in the future. That's a leap of 500% if you were looking at percentages. So with that, modernization is not just cosmetic. It has allowed us to move BARD to the cloud since 2021, tripling the capacity and boosting the speed and searchability. So if you notice your downloads getting a little bit faster, it's because of that. As we imagine the future with you, we are, hopefully, engaging in items that you are interested in. As you know or may not know, we have 5,000 users beta testing our smart speaker across this country. We have focus groups and consumer conversations. We discuss items about voice recognition, streaming audio, and text-to-speech, along with Wi-Fi hotspot searching. So from a food standpoint, it's the whole accessible enchilada. NLS continues to create a variety of items. So as we look at what it means to have modern tools, inclusive design, and continuous delivery, it is because technology should never really leave you stranded. It should lead you forward. And what we want to do is make sure that we bring you items that are helpful, enjoyable, and of course, inclusive, even if you want to bring your own device. With our Braille on Demand program, which has just been astounding and staggering, people have let us know, and we have done as they have asked, to, in a sense, request over 16,000 titles in the Forever Loan, no expiration, which I call long-term loan, where we are able to print Braille on demand for you and provide it to you quickly. 16,000 fulfilled titles. Some of those items, as you requested, 4,000 of those titles included cookbooks, spiritual texts, and crafting guides. So in short, it's like comfort food for the soul and things made with love. And we love doing that for you. With the Marrakesh Treaty, as I said, we continue to add a variety of items from across the world, and with that, our multilingual offerings reflect what you've asked for, content that mirrors the world and welcomes every reader. We continue to have a wonderful and strong relationship with the Department of Veteran Affairs, particularly with DVA, in which 2,200 veterans have joined NLS through our rapid sign-up program with the VA, and same-day access to BARD means no waiting, just welcomes. With that, we have trained over 333 VA staff as certifiers, and within that, we have built in infrastructure that honors service with service. Now let's talk about the challenges. I will start off by saying I know that a lot of you might have things on your mind as we navigate the role of the federal government currently in our country. I do have a Q&A. I think it's at 2 or 2:30 for 90 minutes with you to take open questions. No question too hard, too small, but of course I will try my best to give you an answer to every one. As we started, one of the things that was really a challenge for us, but has allowed us to gain our footing, is the role of induction of parental acknowledgement. NLS took careful steps to communicate this with the local network libraries in the need to implement this change, to introduce the concept of what it meant to have parents involved in reading aspects of children's lives. It was not an easy task, and I know a lot of network libraries groaned and moaned, but yet they trusted me. And so with this, NLS has moved, which we need to do, to include a younger user group. It's necessary for the next generation, and it's wonderful to have diversity from birth to the grave. Very important, lifelong learners. With that, we also have 2 popular devices, our eBraille readers and next generation digital talking book machines that are here. So we ask you to please come by our booth and play. Tell us what you like, what you dislike. It helps us to grow better and learn about what we can do to improve the services for you. With this, however, we're looking at, from the federal landscape, just a preview: tight budgets, shifting expectations, and of course, technological catch-up. But those challenges aren't roadblocks. At NLS, we're going to use them as guideposts for resilience. And here's the real truth. If we understand you, if we listen to you, if we stay adaptable and invest in what matters, we'll always stay on course. We'll continue to refine how you find, how you search, how you access and enjoy content. Discovery isn't just about searching, it's about belonging. In looking at a variety of items at what we do at NLS, what you experience as readers, creators, and thinkers is not just service delivery. It is a celebration of human curiosity. Thank you for walking alongside us. The road ahead may contain occasional potholes or a speed bump. It may be paved even with advanced technology, but the journey is still deeply personal, page by page. A very long time ago, when I was appointed in this position, I met a person who I deeply remember, and I think they have long passed by now, who was vision impaired. They were a long-time NLS patron. And so with that, I remember as I started the job, I ended up at one of the conferences, just at the bar in conversation, just getting to know people and introduce myself as the new director. Or at that time, I used to call myself, as people referred to me as, "Oh, you're the new Karen Nellinger." And I would sigh and say, "Yes, I am the new Karen." So with that, I asked this person, how do they navigate their day, or what does life look like? And they said, well, I'll tell you first what I like to do. I like to read a lot of mysteries. It helps me remember that life has puzzles. I enjoy romances, believe it or not, as a man, to remind me that my heart can mend, and at my age I can still find love. And I enjoy the cookbooks that you have to help me remember that I can't make rice without the fire alarm going off. So that was a wonderful surprise. While he said he has a large family, he kind of lived alone, but he enjoyed the community. And I said, oh, well, do you feel isolated? He says, oh, no. Every time I come up to your catalog, I imagine myself sitting in a room with a bunch of authors, a bunch of ideas, and a bunch of characters who don't care if I am wearing socks that don't match. As you can see, he was a really humorous man. I loved his spirit in life. So what he taught me at the end of this conversation is this. Community isn't just people around us. It's also the stories that walk with us, the laughter we choose to share, and the spaces we're not just accommodated in, but we are celebrated at. And yes, there will be moments when our audiobook glitches, when the Wi-Fi gives out, when the world feels more frustrating and inspiring, when your computer says, nah, I'm not going to help you today. I think I'll just shut down. But even then, we hold the power to say, I'm still here, I'm still learning, and somewhere out there, someone else is burning rice just like me. So as I close, I invite you to carry that spirit of connection with your fellow users, your patrons, your librarians, your network library, and the devices that occasionally will disobey you. Together, we keep turning pages. Together, we will stay curious, and together we provide that every chapter, no matter how complicated, can still leave room for joy. Thank you.
We're going to take a few questions, so don't go too far. Jason, thank you very much. That was good. We do have time for some questions, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one Zoom, one room, one Zoom, one room. I don't know how many questions we can take, but we'll just see how it goes here. We'll take maybe about maybe 5 or 6 questions. I think we can do that. So, do we have a question in Zoom?
Yes, we do. I'm going to allow Todd to talk. Go ahead, Todd.
Thank you, Chanel.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Jason, I don't have a question, but I do have a compliment. Keep up the good work. I really love that presentation, and I'm glad that you're going to use all those budget cuts for moving forward instead of letting it hold you back. Thank you so much for telling me that, because I was really worried about that. But the fact that you're able to do that, that's really amazing. Thank you.
I appreciate that accolade. I'm just honored to have that, and thank you so much for saying that.
All right, do we have a question in the room? Please identify yourself if you're at a microphone and where you're from. No questions in the room? Okay, thank you, Jason. That's helpful. Does anybody, if someone needs questions in the room, Drew is going to will help you to a microphone. Drew, our wonderful Janae's better half can bring you a microphone or get you to a mic if you would like to ask a question.
Okay, my name is Teresa Petrie, and I'm from Arkansas. And this is a compliment to Jason. Occasionally on TV, I hear announcements about NLS, and it shows like the young child who wrote a book for his grandfather, and it's like there's no place like space, and the grandfather is able to hear the book recorded, and that really makes my heart happy. And it's nice that the rest of the world the general public at large can hear about NLS. My younger sister, who was like 8 years my junior, she would read books with me when we were growing up, when she was growing up and I was already a young adult.
All right. Thank you.
Again, I want to say thank you to that. It is always heartwarming, and we really do try to provide very unique experiences for all of our users, all ages, and for all types of people. I do want to give one shout out that I had forgotten to mention, and with that, you always want to start it because it historically is their claim to fame, the great state of Texas. So with that, you might not know, when we updated our legislation to be inclusive of reading disabilities, particularly with dyslexia and dyscalculia, we were stunned that the state of Texas decided to charge forward not so fast, but full steam ahead, helping us add over 20,000 users for reading disabilities alone as the #1 leader, with Pennsylvania running a close second. So to the state of Texas, we honor you in helping those who have reading disabilities be a part of our program.
Before I go to the next question, I want to give you a little audio description up here. Jason's standing behind me, and he's shaking something and fanning me, so it feels kind of good, actually. Chanel, do we have another hand?
We do. Someone in here by the name of iPhone.
Oh,
Hi,
hello, iPhone.
This is Deborah Stegg from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I was wondering how we could suggest adding more cozy mysteries to your collection.
That's a great question. Actually, we do have a book recommendation form, and I know we can get that out to you, but I will find a way to promote that through our listservs and also make sure that the network library that is connected in South Dakota makes that available and aware to its users, because we do accept lots of recommendations. Of course, as there's a caveat, doesn't mean we're not going to do it, but it might take us a little bit of time to decide which format, if it's going to be Braille, if it's going to be both Braille and an audiobook, and a range of other items. But the goal will be, we will attempt to begin that process for you.
Right, let's see, in the room. Dr. Lynn.
This is Dr. Lynn Corral from Olympia, Washington.
Gotcha.
And thank you so much, Jason. I want to know, I have a pilot for the HumanWare e-reader. Are you going to be able to have one e-reader for the whole nation? Thank you very much.
That's a really great question, and it is one that I know would have been of a concern with what we are experiencing now. One of the nice things about future planning is that we're able to put in items in advance and procure what we believe we would need within a year, so that order has already been fulfilled. We believe that we will have enough and a nice small amount of extra in addition to additional parts and supplies that will help with repair over the long term. We took steps because the best way I'll say this is when you move back closer to Congress, you kind of know what Congress is thinking in those conversations. So we decided to wonderfully execute our plans based upon what we were planning to hear from them.
All righty. Chanel, back to Zoom.
Yes, we have Rhonda.
Go ahead.
Hello. I'm Rhonda from Wisconsin, and I have to be one of your biggest readers because I read 371 books in 2024 last year. I love books. But my question is, I am really looking forward to the new digital player that you are, and I was wondering when that will be circulated.
Oh my goodness, we still are navigating that. I think we put a small amount of time, given that we're navigating some of these challenges. We are trying to adjust to some of our technology roadmap plans and making sure that procurement of what we need is available. So there is a little bit of an adjustment that we are making given purchasing and acquisitions is the best way to say that of parts and things that we need to have come to us. And so that has presented a bit of a slowdown, but it is still on our drawing board. We would hope to have an execution date of late 2026 or a little bit sooner if things work to our advantage. But that is still with us, and we hope to launch that very soon.
Okay, that'll be the last question. That will be the last question on Zoom. So let's go one more in the room.
Mr. Chair?
This is who?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Carla.
I'm Carla Rushfeld, President of Library Users of America, and I'd like to remind everyone to come to the 2 Lua Present sessions this afternoon. At 1 o'clock, you'll be able to talk more with Gary Tipton, the talking book narrator, and at 2:30, Jason Barton will be in our session to talk about NLS, and we're so excited to have you there. Co-sponsors of that session are Braille Revival League and American Association of Blind Teachers. Thank you.
And that's in Byron Beeman, right, Carla?
Yes.
Thank you. I was going to mention that, but you took care of it. Jason, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming to ACB and giving us your words of wisdom. Before I started, I forgot to do one thing, a little audio description of myself. I'm a white male, about 6'3" tall, brown hair, brown eyes. I have a not sure what color mask I've got on today. I've got a little bit of a sniffle, so I'm just trying to keep it away from people. I'm wearing a blue shirt and dark colored Docker pants with my shirt's got a little design. It almost looks like a backwards letter R in the left pocket of it. So, and a name badge that's now only got 1 ribbon on it because the other 3 lost their stickiness and came off. So got to find me some Scotch tape or something. All right. The other thing I wanted to do before we go, I know we did this the other night too, but are we ready for door prizes? Not till the end. Okay, I'm being told not till the end. I heard you, Albert, all the way up here, bud. But we'll do them at the end. So the other thing I wanted to just take a minute and do, though, I don't know, and I know Jason Miller eloquently did this the other night, but I just want to remind people, if you've been listening to I don't know if you haven't been unplugged from the news, the tremendous tragedy that happened in another part of Texas, over 100 killed due to flash floods, many of them children at Camp Mystic down there. I'm not sure exactly where it is here in Texas, but just if you're please keep those folks in your thoughts, and if you're inclined to pray, please pray for those folks. It's certainly a very difficult time for those families. All right. Well, now we've come to a part of the convention that I know a lot of us look forward to. I became secretary taking over for Marlena Lieberg, and she got to do this. And she threatened to, when she moved up to second vice president, she threatened to arm wrestle me to get to do this. But, and you know Marlena, if she was determined, she would have beat me. But anyway, it's come time to hear from people that are big parts of our lives, people that we hang out on the patio with, people that we ride the train or the bus with, and people that we sometimes fall asleep with. It is time for the annual visit from our talking book narrator. And this year, we are so pleased to have with us from the American Printing House for the Blind, this year's talking book narrator. Let's give him a big ACB welcome to Gary Tipton.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be here with you today. I'm calling my presentation Gary's Adventures in Recording Land, or Through the Pop Shield. Now, if that title sounds vaguely familiar, it's because I chose to borrow from Lewis Carroll.
In case you're not familiar with the term pop shield, it's a screen that's placed in front of a microphone, similar in size and shape to a looking glass, to prevent mouth pops or plosives from being picked up by the microphone. The pop shield is also frequently referred to as a wind screen or a pop stop. First, a little bit of background to begin my adventures in recording land. I'm originally from Johnson City, Tennessee, way in the northeastern corner of the state, only about 30 or so miles from North Carolina and Virginia. While in elementary school, I developed my love of reading. One of my early memories is a heated competition with a girl for the most stars for books completed. She won, by the way, but I like to think it's because she was pretty and I had a school boy crush on her. Elementary school was also my first theatrical experience when I was cast as the gingerbread boy at the age of 6. And although I've been taking a few detours and hiatuses from it, I've been with it ever since. After receiving my bachelor's degree in speech and drama from East Tennessee State University, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area and taught school there for 10 years. While in the Washington area, I obtained my master's degree and performed in dinner theater productions and was a supernumerator, read that extra, at the Kennedy Center. From there, I was lured away from teaching, trying my hand at the publishing business, modeling, restaurant entrepreneurship, real estate, banking, retail sales, waitering, and bartending in Chicago, and later the Boston area. I know that sounds like I was a job hopper, but keep in mind, much of the time I held down more than one job at a time. Such is the life of an actor. Segue to my current home, Louisville, Kentucky, and my longest term anywhere. Upon the sudden death of my father, I decided to move to Louisville, where my parents happened to live at the time, and care for my mother, who suffered from crippling rheumatoid arthritis. After moving, I signed with a local modeling and talent agency. Upon seeing my background, they suggested I audition for the American Printing House for the Blind. They knew of another talent from the agency who narrated for them, Madeline Bazard. That was 40 years ago, so you may say that Madeline is responsible for my being here today. Obviously, considering my longevity in the talking book studios, it is a job I have truly loved, most of the time. There have been times when I've been trying to work my way around Klingon, Celtic, or small towns in a myriad of countries, when that has indeed proved challenging, to say the least. My hat is off to the studio manager, researchers, monitors, and proofreaders who make my life so much easier. When I first started recording, all the recordings were made on reel-to-reel tape. Those of you who've been with us for a while may remember us going very much slower or faster than our usual pace at the end of a side to fit the time parameters. If the proofreaders decided we missed a note that should have been read, then the monitor would have to physically splice in a section of tape to allow for the insertion, and we would have to speed up our delivery of the last few pages to fit the time frame. When recording, I always try to read through everything beforehand. Now that we're in the digital age, I'll have to say that I truly miss having an actual copy of the book to be able to mark up. I developed a system of marking the book very similar to the way I would mark a script. I would indicate who was speaking with an initial. I also underlined any words I wanted to stress and any pauses with a slash. I always hoped for wide margins, so there was room to indicate the pronunciation of any words I had to look up. I still make notes in a separate notebook of what I want each character to sound like and anything I have to look up. Authors don't always tell us who is speaking with each line of dialogue, as it would make the storyline too cumbersome. So it is sometimes a collaborative effort between the narrator, the monitors, and the proofreaders to figure out which character is speaking. We hope we get it right. And I won't go into the almost total lack of commas in modern writing. Even though I miss having a copy of the book, having the text available digitally more than makes up for it in many other ways, such as not having to run over sentences or learn to turn the pages silently. We depend on monitors, researchers, for many of the more difficult words we encounter, but since we're paid by the recorded minute, it behooves us to look up as many words as we can in advance so we don't have to stop the recording process to discuss how to pronounce a word. Again, my hat is off to the researchers. And speaking of research, there are certain words I know I've looked up time and time again, but when I get to the word once more in the text, I think, well, was it this way or that way? Was the accent on the last or penultimate syllable? And I have to look it up all over again. By the way, it often turns out that it can be pronounced more than one way, but we have to try to be consistent within the book itself. Although I try to pre-read materials, I have found that I dare not read too far in advance on a mystery, which I mainly record, for fear that I'll give something away by inflection if I'm aware of who done it too soon. Speaking of research, I've often wondered, what would the CIA think if they had occasion to go through my computer history? With some of the research I've done, they would probably think I'm a terrorist alien spy. As you may or may not be aware, the American Printing House is currently undergoing new renovation and construction, so the studios have been moved to a temporary space. Working around the noise caused by this new construction has caused some unexpected recording stops and corrections. But that's nothing new to us. I know that in one of our old studios used to be located next to a delivery area. And even though I couldn't look outside because we were in a basement surrounded by soundproofing, I knew when the Pepsi delivery was being made. They had a particularly noisy truck. Our old and our envisioned new studios are as near soundproof as we can make them, with a window open to a view of our monitor in a separate room, and then to another window opening to a viewing area where tours can view and hear us in action. I'll have to admit that at times it's like living in a goldfish bowl. You never know who is looking or listening in. By the way, if the material we're reading contains profanity, a sign is used stating no speaker. My mother used to call me a wiggle worm. I guess I am in pretty much constant motion. So sitting for over 2 hours with little to no movement is pretty much an impossibility for me. Therefore, the least squeaky chair in the studio and frequently the most uncomfortable one, is the one you'll find me in. When people find out I narrate talking books, one of their first questions is, how long does it take to narrate a book? My answer is always, well, that depends, which of course is a nebulous answer to a nebulous question. So much depends on the action of the storyline itself, margins, spacing, typeset, size of type, and of course, number of pages. To help clarify, I let them know that it usually takes about 2 minutes to read each page. That's not allowing for pronunciation discussions, misreads, and studio noises, either real or phantom. Fortunately, now that the studios had been moved into temporary quarters in construction, we no longer have to stop for Pepsi trucks. One of the many perks of the job is discovering new authors. In my years in recording land, I've read many memorable books and series. Some of the standouts are the Mitford books by Jan Karon. I will be reading a selection by Miss Karon today. The Alaska mystery books by Sue Henry. This even prompted a trip to Alaska for me. The Mr. Finchley books by Victor Canning, the Poirot and Many Mysteries by Dame Agatha Christie, and the Dale Brown and his aviation techno-thrillers, the Nuala series by Harriet Steele, Hatchet and the books inspired by it, as well as the Mr. Tuckett series by Gary Paulson. I never considered myself a Trekkie until I began recording the Star Trek The Next Generation books by Gene Roddenberry. But after recording the first couple of them, I began to look forward to the next one and the next, and even started to watch the series. Of course, I can't leave out the many cookbooks and health-centered books I've recorded. I had the honor recently to record Across 2 Novembers, A Year in the Life of a Blind Bibliophile by David Fosho, one of our own. I'm currently recording what I'm sure I will add to my list of favorites, Compassion in the Court, life-changing stories from America's nicest judge, Frank Caprio. You may have heard of Mr. Caprio from his long-running television series. I think that was it's definitely on YouTube because I've listened to quite a few of them. I hope you'll forgive me if I don't remember something you happen to have read recently. Remember, it could have been 40 years ago that I recorded it. And now, a reading from Jan Karon's Somewhere Safe with Somebody Good. Oddly enough, this is a book I didn't record, even though I did record most of the series. I think commercial audiobooks were being released at this point, is the reason I didn't receive it. This is, again, from Somewhere Safe with Somebody Good. So he was a laughing stock, they thought, as he gave himself the morning insulin shot. Big deal. Clergy were known to do worse than go weak in the knees. He would get out there and face the music, let the chips fall where they may. Not for him, the blighted syndrome of a retired priest who won't leave the house. He did his stretching in the study, tied on the bandana Puny had laundered, made a swing through the kitchen to stuff the bakery list in his shorts pocket, and paid his respects in the studio. "Pray for me," he said, kissing his wife. "Go and be as the butterfly, sweetheart." He went out through the garage and hit the sidewalk running. The morning was unseasonably warm and humid. not unlike the flatlands in late spring. He crossed Wisteria and stood for a moment on the corner, observing Main Street in motion at 7:30 in the morning. 2 workmen on ladders replacing the awning at Village Shoes, a pickup truck offloading bushels of valley apples into the local. And there was the cloud of aromas sent forth by the sweet stuff bakery ovens, fired 6 days a week at 5 a.m. sharp. For his memory, the yeasty fragrance diffused by clean mountain air was the best thing about Midford. Where could you find another town that smelled this good every morning? He buzzed 3 times at the bakery's side entrance, he being one of the few customers allowed entry before the front doors opened at 8. Winnie Kendall peered through the window. The monitor buzzed, and the door swung open. Good morning, he called out to the kitchen. Winnie stepped into the hall, wiping her hands on her apron. Father, we're just glazing the Danish and slicing the cakes. What can we do for you? He loved her good face. It was all smiles all the time. The sort of face you wouldn't mind wearing every day. Just dropping off an order and I'll be out of your way. He dug in his shorts pocket for the list. I can swing by for it later this morning. Odd. It was in a small envelope. He hadn't noticed that when he grabbed it off the kitchen counter. Let's see. He opened the envelope and knew at once this wasn't the list. Something like joy leaped in him. What to do? Put it back in his pocket and wait to read it later? But then, why wait? This is not the list, he said. Can you remember your list, Father? Yes, let's see. The mix-up had rattled him. Maybe if he recalled who would be there tonight. There's Sammy, he's 16. No, wait, he's 17. And Kenny, he's 19, a strapping fellow. And Harley, he's just driven from Kentucky, so he'll have an appetite. And there's Miss Pringle, a timer going off in the kitchen. That'll be the bran muffins, said Winnie. Sounds like you need a cake. The triple chocolate would be my recommendation. It wasn't a cake we're after, he said. Let's see. His mind was a complete blank. 2 teenagers, you said. That's brownies for sure. Of course, that's it. Your famous brownies. A panful, please, and 2 sugar-free lemon squares. He was a basket case. He could handle only one social event at a time. And a Napoleon for Miss Pringle, she's French, you know, and a pan of yeast rolls and 2 bags of hamburger buns. I can have it ready at 9:30, but that's a long time for you to wait. No, I'll be back at 9:30. I'll just sit here a minute, if you don't mind. I can't turn the lights on in here till late, or they'll be banging on the door. Of course, that's fine. How about a cup of coffee? Please, don't trouble yourself. You have your hands full. Never too full for you, Father. You helped me hang on to this old place, remember? Well, then, black as coal, Winnie, and thank you. He felt 18 years old as he withdrew the triple-folded sheet from the envelope, her scent of wisteria. You look happy as a chigger, said Winnie, delivering his coffee in a real mug instead of styrofoam. He laid the folded letter by the coffee mug and waited. He saw her as she might have looked when writing it, the way she held her mouth when she worked. And yes, she would have worked on this, for his wife, like Flaubert, minded every word. She was earnest in all she undertook, and now this tangible gift, this enduring artifact of her affection. My dearest husband, as a child with parents who scarcely knew me, I remember distinctly what I yearned for: to be somewhere safe with somebody good. When I was recovering from the clumsy attempt to end my life and just awakening to his life in me, I remember asking, please God, let me be somewhere safe with somebody good. Your goodness to me has been overwhelming. How tender you are, though I am often as tough as gristle. How patiently you have loved me since you made up your mind to love me always. By his grace, I am safe at last. But to be safe with you is grace beyond measure. Thomas Traherne said, we are as prone to love as the sun is to shine. I was always prone as anyone could be possibly, but could I actually love? Not until I met you, Timothy, who is love's truest yeoman. For everything that you are to me and to many, for your kindness of spirit and unbounded generosity, I love and cherish you with all my being. And if God choose, please forgive me for borrowing this, I shall but love thee better after death. Bookends forever, C. Thomas blew into the room bearing an enormous tray. The still unlighted room hummed with energy. Anything you'd like before you go, Father? We have sugar-free Danish, you know. No thanks, Thomas, and much obliged for the coffee. I have absolutely everything I need. He checked his pocket, making sure the letter was there. Absolutely everything. Thank you. In my 40 years of adventures in recording land, I've seen many changes in the recording process, from reel-to-reel tapes and cassettes to the current digital age and the age of AI. Now that commercial audiobooks are being released for your usage, what we record is changing. Every time I record an annotation for one of those books, I can't help but think, well, that's one I won't be recording. But then I remember the NLS byline, that all may read, and realize how it broadens your reading horizon, and I realize that's what's truly important. It's sobering and gratifying to know that my voice will still be around and listened to when I'm no longer here. To quote George R.R. Martin, I have lived 1,000 lives and loved 1,000 loves. I've walked on distant worlds and seen the end of time, because I read. Thank you for reading with me through my adventures in recording land.
Okay, folks, and we do have time for a few questions. Let's maybe take another 6 of them. So what we're going to do this time, we're going to start with the room. So if there's anyone in the room that would like to ask Gary a question, please get to a microphone. And Drew, maybe some of you guys out there could help people do that.
Charles has a question.
Okay.
Chuck Jones, or Charles Jones, either one works there. I started a book that you read, and it was Gary Paulson, the author. Do you remember reading the book, 6 Kids and a Stuffed Cat?
Would you state the name again? I am getting a little feedback.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm too close here. 6 Kids and a Stuffed Cat by Gary Paulson.
Yes, yes. As I mentioned, Gary Paulson is one of my favorite authors, and I do remember the book, although it has probably been a while since I have recorded it. But as I said, he's one of my favorite authors.
Great. All right. Chanel, do we have anybody in Zoom?
Yes, we do. Diane Scalzi, please.
All right, Diane.
Good morning, everybody. I don't have really a question. I have more of a comment. I've been listening to talking books for years and years, and I felt like I could always identify books recorded at APH because of the way they sounded. They had kind of an echo to them. And, I guess I wondered then, what were the, earlier studios like, as far as how big they were and that sort of thing?
They were, as I described them in my talk, they were as soundproof as we could make them. At one point, they were larger studios. Perhaps that is the reason you were getting kind of an echo. And then later on, they were reduced to capsule size, and they were professionally done. At one point, the old studios were more liable to produce an echo, I think, than the later ones. We're still in they actually just moved the capsules into the temporary space that we're in now. And I imagine when the construction is complete, they will be either moving them back into the new space, or else we may be lucky enough to have new capsules.
Douglas has a question on the floor.
Okay, let's go ahead with that.
Good morning. Thank you very much for coming and talking with us. I noticed in your reading a couple of times you have restarted a sentence, and I was wondering, when you're in the studio, do you, when you realize that you've missed and you want to start a sentence again, do you have to add extra space, or are your proofreaders on top of it and can glean what needs to be fixed as you're going along?
Frequently, any mistakes are caught by either the monitor or sometimes the reader themselves. I will realize that I've made a mistake, and I will stop the recording process, and then I have the monitor run back, or actually I control that myself. I can run back and do what we call cut in at the end of the previous sentence and record over the top of that. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Right. Before we go to our next Zoom question, I just would remind folks that whether you're here or on Zoom, that again, as Carla mentioned earlier, this afternoon at 1 p.m., you'll be able to talk with Gary and ask any questions that you have at the Library Users of America presentation here. That is in the Byron Beeman room, and you do have your Zoom links for that if you'd like to participate. Okay, Chanel, do we have anybody?
We do. We have a phone number, area code 720. Please unmute.
Okay.
You are unmuted, so go ahead and ask your question, please. All right, let's go on to area code 518, please. You may unmute. Or I'm sorry, area code 505.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
All right, area code 505, please.
She says she's here, so.
Okay, I'm back.
Go, there you are. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Ellen here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm just curious, whenever you're recording, after a while, do you kind of feel claustrophobic in the studio?
I'm sorry, I'm not really hearing that question.
She said, do you feel claustrophobic in the studio after you're recording? I believe that's the gist of the question.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sorry, I still don't know. Do I feel claustrophobic in the studio? Actually, I have been recording such a long time that I've gotten over any claustrophobia I might feel. They are still, we're supplied with a small desk and a bookshelf to keep personal items on, so there is room for that, and a couple of chairs. I mentioned the chairs in my movement earlier, and most of the time I will sit in what's considered a straight back chair, a wooden sturdy chair, whereas other narrators prefer the more comfortable squeaky kind, which don't work for me. So.
All right, let's come back to the room.
All right, we have 2 questions on the floor, but Jan was first. Go, Jan.
I've been reading talking books since 1957, and I just wanted to say to you and all of those that you work with how much I and everyone in the room and by Zoom appreciate what you do. Thank you.
All right. All right, well said. Janelle?
Yes, let's go to our 720 area code, please. You may unmute again.
Keisha, is that you?
Yeah, Keisha.
Okay. Keisha, you need to unmute. *6. Okay, we're not hearing him. Let's move on.
Let's go to Terry Turlaw.
Okay.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful presentation, Gary. Now, this is not intended to put you on the spot, but I wondered if you could remember any of your famous Klingon phrases from Star Trek The Next Generation. And if so, could you lay one on us?
I'm afraid that I don't remember those. It has been a number of years when I recorded the Star Trek The Next Generation series, and I had to depend on them being written out in front of me. Fortunately, we did have a Trekkie at the studios at the time who was able to supply me with the Klingon. I felt very fortunate to be able to have that source.
Good answer.
All right. Drew, did you say we had one more down there?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's take 2 more. Let's take 1 more room and 1 Zoom. So, the room?
Sir, what are 2 books, 1 nonfiction and 1 fiction, that you were absolutely happy that you were a part of?
As far as I will answer that partly. And the book that affected me the most as I was reading it was The Christmas Shoes, the famous story that we've all heard. And I actually had to stop recording at one point and get straightened up from that recording. Another one I happen to remember was a children's book, and it was called Joseph's Brother, and I really enjoyed that. It was a biblical story.
Thank you, sir.
And Chanel will take one more Zoom.
All right, we have Todd. Todd, you may unmute.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. My question is this. When you recorded in the days before digital, did the monitor have to rewind the reel-to-reel? Because I think I remember hearing that many years ago. And by the way, you did a good job about Hatchet.
Well, thank you. Hatchet was one of my favorite books. When I record, let's see. I've kind of forgotten the question. Would you repeat it? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. All right. When you recorded when you recorded before the digital age, did the monitor do the reel-to-reel and stuff? Did he run the recording?
Yes, he was in a separate room from us with a window between the two of us, and we were sent the books by the NLS. At that point, we had the hard copies, and both the monitor and ourselves would have a copy of the book in front of them. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. So the monitor was the only one who recorded, is what you're saying?
I'm sorry? Would you repeat that?
Sure. Did the monitor record did he operate the reel-to-reel machine? Or did you operate the reel?
They actually operate the machines, and we have a control to a certain extent with buttons on our desk, so we can roll back to a previous sentence if necessary, or else the monitor can control it also.
Gary, thank you very, very much for being here. And AI is going to do a lot of things for us, but I don't think I ever want to see it replacing our narrators. Hopefully that won't happen. Okay, well, we are actually coming to the end of our session for today. But before I turn this over to Janet for some announcements and to do some door prizes, and to the host committee for some door prizes, I want to just take a couple of minutes of personal privilege, if I could. Today, after this convention, this will mark the end of 19 years of service for me on the ACB Board of Directors. And I'm not entitled to that. It only happens because you, the ACB members, elect me. And I just want to say thank you. 19 years ago, this farm kid from Winnebago County, Illinois, came before the ACB and said, I want to run for the board of directors. And you said, okay, we'll elect you. And you elected me 3 more times to another board term, then secretary, then second vice president. And I am so grateful to you. I want to reflect a little bit on my time on the board, and then thank some people. First of all, my absolute favorite thing about having been on the board of directors is all of the state conventions that I've gotten to attend, because the state conventions are where the rubber meets the road in ACB, where you meet people that can't come to national conventions for whatever reason, especially when you're in person. And I advise, by the way, going forward, any board members, if you have an opportunity to attend a state convention in person, please take advantage of that. That's where you really meet people and find out what they're doing. That has been the absolute favorite thing, from singing in a talent show in Washington State, to going to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, to having to be invited to the North Carolina convention twice, because the first time I couldn't fly because a firebug set a fire at the Air Traffic Control Center in Chicago and I couldn't get out. And riding home on the L, I commiserated with Kim Charlson, who was on her way to an affiliate convention. Neither one of us could get there. So North Carolina was kind enough to invite me back the next year, and it was great. So that's my absolute favorite thing. I just want to share 3 memories, and probably what I remember as my biggest challenge during my time on the board of directors. My 3 memories, first is my first full board meeting in Nashville, Tennessee, organized by Brenda and Dan Dillon. Wonderful, wonderful people, as we all know. And it was great because we got to go to the Grand Ole Opry. And I said, wow, if board life is like this, I'm going to like it. So that was pretty good. And you know Brenda, she had everything planned out, everything was all set up, and everything worked to perfection. And it was a great experience. The second favorite memory, now this I know is not Mitch Pomerantz's favorite memory, is in 2016 at the fall board meeting in Reno, Nevada. After we finished our business, it happened to be the Game 6 of the National League Championship Series when the Cubs beat the Dodgers to win the pennant. And we sat in Michael Garrett and Mitch Pomerantz's suite, got some liquid refreshments, and all of the rest of us were for the Cubs except Mitch, who was for the Dodgers, and we just gave it to him, laid it on him, heavier than heavy. Yeah, that was quite a night. And then my third favorite memory is working with David Trott to charter the ACB, Next Generation Affiliate. Amanda Selm reminds me that I made her cry, and which is not my intent, but that happened. And that was in February of 2020. And of course, shortly after that was the biggest challenge that I had to face during my time on the board, and that was pivoting from doing a in-person convention to a virtual convention in about 90 days. We were just talking about this the other day with some people, and I remember that. I remember having to take that vote. And I remember thinking, okay, maybe we'll have a few sessions. Maybe we'll just have a few breakout sessions. Guys, remember 2020? We had 108 sessions on Zoom. And that was before we really knew what we were doing with Zoom. So it just really shows that this board, when it wants to, can get stuff done. I want to thank some people before I put the microphone away. First, I want to thank my wife, Karen. She's always been supportive of my board service, even through late night executive sessions, Dan, and all sorts of late night activities with the board and stuff. I want to thank the presidents and executive directors I've had a chance to serve with. I've got to serve under 5 ACB presidents, each with their own style, and that from Chris Gray to Deb Cook-Lewis. And I served with, I was thinking about this morning, I served actually with 5 executive directors, although one of them was temporary. That was when Dan moved into Eric's role after Eric left us. And to do great things over at the American Foundation for the Blind, and so it's been great to serve with all of you, presidents and board members. I remember coming onto the board when I got to serve with great people like my friend and mentor, the late M.J. Schmidt. God bless your soul, M.J. Brenda Dillon, Marlena Lieberg, and so many other wonderful people. But again, in closing, I thank all of you for your confidence in me over the years, for giving me the opportunity to serve. And as Deb said the other night, I am not going away. I have already spoken to her about a few things that I'd like to do. And so you'll see me around, just not at board meetings. And now I can sit in my living room, drink a beer, and yell at my smart speaker, "What are you guys doing?" Thank you all very, very much for this past 19 years. It's been wonderful.
got it. Okay, so thank you, Ray, and we really do love you and appreciate you. It's all good. And we're going to have some announcements from Janet and our door prizes. And let me say that it's not going to always work kind of perfectly, but one of the many thousands of feedbacks we get in the convention survey, and for every feedback we get, we also get the other side of that feedback. So it's kind of like no matter what you do, there's always, people who like it and people who don't. But one of the things people have said is that it would be great if the morning general sessions were a little shorter. So, because they technically have been traditionally scheduled for like 3.5 hours. And so, and we know that it gets very tight to get to your tour schedules and the lunches and the things you need to do in the afternoon, and you leave early anyway, and you're not here for the 3.5 hours, and we noticed that. And we thought about locking the doors, but some of you want to sneak out for the restroom. Well, that's still allowed. So our compromise is that I'm trying to balance the schedule so that we can do everything we need to do and get out a little earlier some of the days at least, yeah? All right, so that's the group that likes it. I'll hear from the other people in the email list. So anyway, we are trying to do that. So if you wonder, why the sessions end up sometimes being a little shorter, that's because we didn't have, for example, today we didn't have more nominations, so that takes us back. So instead of overfilling the agenda, we're just kind of having it run. So tomorrow, we will have one item that's not been in any of the printed agendas yet, and it will be tomorrow, but it is the motion that is being brought by Janine Lee regarding the convention, distributing the convention goodie bags to virtual attendees. And so we will be taking that one up tomorrow, and I'll add it to the agenda, but that is an additional item to be aware of. I'm going to turn it over to Janet, and we're just about done.
And Deb, after Janet, Dan for a quick announcement.
Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just a reminder to everybody, we thank everybody who participates in the monthly monetary support program. Again, we've got some of our committee members manning the table in the marketplace. Please consider giving to the monthly monetary support program. It's a wonderful opportunity to not only support ACB, but support your local affiliate. Again, if you'd like to sign up, you can call 888-999-3190. That's 888-999-3190. Or you can also email Gene Mann at askacbmms@gmail.com. That's askacbmms@gmail.com. And again, we'll be in the marketplace tomorrow. Please stop by and give your pledge and support your affiliate. Thank you so much.
Oh, right in front of me. All right. When I have to say, Gary Tipton did an outstanding job, didn't he? And I was so excited. I get the fun part. I get to talk to these narrators before they actually come to convention, and working with Gary was such a thrill. Thank you, Gary. And when Ray got up to say I had started over to the microphone, and when Ray got up to say a few words, I decided to sit down because I knew it wouldn't be just a few. All right. Anyway, those of you who signed up for an ALD, due to shipping issues, we finally have them in registration. So if you requested an ALD loop, please go down to registration to pick it up. Just a reminder, the T-Mobile session today is in Sanger. I know there was a little confusion, but that's where it is. And Carter Blood Center, they're still ready to take your blood. So they're here today until 3 p.m. So get up there and register and give your blood. It's life-giving. All right, at the information desk, we have a few things. Now, someone should recognize this. We have a Yeti that says, Ray Williams, you make me smile. Love, Debbie. Now, I would think that someone would know who that belongs to. Yep, that's honestly what it says. All right, we also have a blue fanny pack, which has a room key with a number on, which I'm not going to give out because someone will be able to identify it, and a notebook and a couple of other sundry things in it. We still have not found the Patriots fan with that thermos. Well, they should be. And we also have not found the owner of the blue throw. So that is what I have today. Make sure you're out. We were going to be on a tight schedule today with our tours. So the 6th floor is leaving at 12:15. So be out there, get on that bus. The African Museum of Art is leaving at 1:30. Be out there at 1 o'clock to get loaded on that bus. Thank you very much. All right, let's do some door prizes.
Janet, can I just make a change to the schedule for later today regarding the gaming session? This is Carl Richardson.
What? You know, I'm sorry, you can't hear up here very well. What was that?
I want to make an announcement that one of the sessions for ADP gaming has been canceled. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. All right, the ADP session, the gaming session, is that Carl?
No, the second one, the one at 5:30
yes,
to 6:45.
the hands-on gaming.
That's been canceled, but we...
Okay, the hands-on gaming session with ADP has been canceled. Okay,
well, but the one at 5:30, I mean the one at 4 o'clock, the 5:15...
The 4 to 5:15 session is still on, but the 5:30 session is not. The 4 o'clock session was a hybrid session. The 5:30 session, it was a hands-on, and that has been canceled. All right, thank you. Thank you, Carl. What just happened to my Braille display? All right, door prizes. Luis Herrero, who is in person, he gets a bag from Leader Dogs for the Blind, and it is a cooler bag with a collapsible water bowl and an ice pack and all kinds of other cool things in. And that is at the information desk, so if you'd stop by and get that, thank you. Renette Ferns is virtual, and she gets $25 from ACB Diabetics. Thank you, ACBDA, and that will be mailed to her. Rachel Buchanan is in person, and she is going to get a mug that was designed by Anthony Bacon. And I'm going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute to read this, but I want to read this description of this mug because I think this is such a cool thing. This was hand-drawn or hand-designed and painted. And what it says is, all 4 characters depicted on the mug are faceless. An adult male with his mouth open, I'm not sure how he's faceless with his mouth open, but anyway, that's what it says, appears to be reading. He is sitting down with an open book across his lap. He is wearing a yellow shirt with a dotted tie and white pants. There is a young girl wearing a red shirt and white pants with a ponytail standing on his left side, leaning in, appearing to be listening to the book. On his right side is another young girl wearing a white turtleneck shirt and red jacket with white pants, hair up with a bow wrap. She has some of her right hand fingers holding the book, open as she faces the reader. In front of this group is a young boy wearing a red shirt with black pants and suspenders. His face is tilted upwards toward the reader as he sits close on a small yellow floor stool. Everyone appears to be engaged in the activity. In front of the group, lying on the floor by the boy, is a white cane. And I just think that this mug just sounds so lovely. And that is in registration, so please go pick that up, Rachel, when you have a minute. Also, Joseph Tingler, who is virtual, has $25 from North Dakota coming his way. And Zerline Johnson, who is also virtual, has $25 from ACB of Minnesota. And we have Kathy Herb, who is on site, and she has a pen from Dan Lovell, another, and it is a white stone with gold and chrome hardware. And that is our door prizes for today. Thank you all very much. Enjoy your afternoon. Anybody else need this? All right.
Boy, isn't she the best announcer? Yeah. All right, so we will be voting this afternoon. Please do that, and please again get your votes to your affiliates in the prescribed ways that they have for you, and we are adjourned until tomorrow.
A logo, ACB in print and braille, American Council of the Blind, together for a bright future.